what? When Tony Khan needs to take AEW in a new direction, you know who is always Mr. Reliable? Jon effing
Every time.
It's funny. It just clicked in my head too. You're right. As you both are saying that, it's like, yeah, maybe that is what's going to happen. Maybe they're going to deliver the very ruthless, like they're going to send him out, right? They're going to send him out in the worst possible way. And that's how this new era starts. And I mean, here comes the money.
My God, stop trying to make that. Stop trying to make Shane McMahon a thing. What is going on, you guys? Welcome into the all-new Takedown on SI YouTube channel. It is predictions time. This weekend, it is AEW WrestleDream out in, where is it, Tacoma, Washington? Is that where we're at? Tacoma, Washington?
Tacoma, Washington, good sir.
Yeah. I know it's Washington, right? I know, it's Daniel Bryan country.
That's right.
Big question on everybody's mind. Will this be it for Bryan Danielson and his full-time in-ring career? We will get there. But obviously, that's going to be the last match that we choose here on the Takedown. Rick Ucchino here, as always. Adam Bernard and Zach Haydorn are two newest members of the Takedown on SI side. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. I'm very happy you were both here. And joining me here today to break down this extensive card that Tony Khan has put together for us.
Appreciate the introduction, sir. Thank you so much. Glad to be a part of the team at the Takedown on SI. Looking forward to building something fun here with both you guys. Very excited.
I am too. Great. Thanks so much for having me. Great talent there, and just excited to talk a little WrestleDream, talk a little AEW, and yeah, should be fun.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's hop right into this because time is precious and time is money. Hologram has burst onto the scene in AEW here, gentlemen, and for my money, so has Beast Mortos. I'm just never not impressed with the matches that he has put together in his time on Collision. Doesn't rack up a ton of wins. That is something that Hologram has definitely done since he has shown up. He is undefeated. This one made by Tony Khan Wednesday morning. 2 out of 3 falls matchup adds a little bit of intrigue there, Adam. But I will say Hologram does get pinned for the first time in this one, but he does not lose. I am going to say this ends up being 2-1 going in Hologram's favor. Your thoughts on this one?
I think you're right. I think if they're going to extend Hologram's undefeated streak, if you will, I think it's definitely the move for them to put him over the top. However, I do think that it will be intriguing when Mortis pins him. I do like Mortis. I like his gimmick. I like everything about the guy. Obviously, he's physically a monster and also visually a monster. But I think I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. I think Hologram gets the win in total. I think it's 2-1.
I have no idea how that man wrestles as well as he does in that mask. Zach, how do you see this going?
It's wild, but I'm taking Hologram 2 to win. I do think you see him lose a fall for sure. But look, Hologram has been a priority for AEW and for Tony Khan. It's like his project. And, I think Tony Khan's going to see that through for better or worse. And so, you can't have the guy losing these kind of matches if that's going to happen. So I'm taking Hologram here, and pretty definitive in my belief that this is going to be a W for him.
Yeah, it would be a huge win for Mortos, honestly, if he were able to pull off the upset. I just, like you said, Zach, I don't see it happening. They've just invested too much in the build-up to Hologram to end it before we've really gotten any kind of character development out of him thus far. He's just been putting on incredible matches. Will the Ocho become the Nueve? Chris Jericho challenging Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Man, I'll tell you what, I think especially after the comments of Chris Jericho live on AEW television to Mark Briscoe about his brother Jay, I think it would be like, I don't have a problem with the comment, right? You want to put that in storyline, that's great. But after you do that, that is the point of no return as far as I am concerned. Mark Briscoe needs to whoop this man's ass and do it handily, and I think that will happen. I think Mark Briscoe retains. I believe it would be poor form to have Chris Jericho win the Ring of Honor World title again at this point, Adam.
Yeah, you know what? I got to agree with you, man. I'm a big Briscoe fan. Always have been fan of Mark and Jay. I mean, how could you not be? I thought, I know it's storyline, but I don't know. I feel weird about that kind of stuff when they make those kinds of commentary about folks who aren't here. It's not really my bag. I get it, but okay. I just
It's
hope
heat,
he
right. It's kind of
it's
cheap heat.
heat.
It's serious
Yeah,
heat,
very
but
much so.
But it's not, I don't know. I feel like you could have gotten to that without saying it, right? Like there's a way to be more nuanced and approach that without actually having to invoke Jay's name. But in any event, it seemed like he was okay with it, which is fine. But Mark better whoop that ass, man. Mark better give it to Jericho like he's never gotten it given to him before. I hope Mark Briscoe's reign with that Ring of Honor title is long and extensive, and Chris Jericho should be a speed bump on that reign there. So I'm going to go with Mark Briscoe here, and we're all rooting for you to give him the old Jack Johnson, pal. So go ahead and give it to him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little more serious side, obviously, out of Mark Briscoe in this match, Zach, because I look at him and I look at Kyle O'Reilly and the way that they wrestle, especially when they're tagging together. They're like the most extra performers in AEW. I don't think we're going to see so much of that comedy side out of Mark on Saturday.
I don't think we will either, and I definitely don't think we should. Not when you go down the road, as you guys both articulated, when you go down the road of talking about Jay the way that Chris Jericho did, I mean, it's go time. Like the silliness and the funny promos, you gotta put that aside to handle business. And this week on Dynamite, we saw a different tone out of Mark Briscoe's like promos. He shed all of that. So I think he gets that too. And I think that's exactly where we're going to see this thing go. This has to be a definitive, clean, straightforward win for Mark Briscoe over Chris Jericho. I am not a fan of them going down the Jay Briscoe route on this, just like you, Adam. But if they do, the good guys got to get the comeuppance in the end. No question about it. And I get the sense based on how this has been booked that they know that. So I'm taking Mark Briscoe here too.
A lot of title matches on this card, including the TNT Championship that is going to be on the line. It is Jack Perry versus the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata. I like Shibata. I like him a lot. I'd love to see his wrestling do more of the talking than the cell phone, but I just got a feeling it doesn't feel like the right time for Jack Perry to drop this championship just yet. I don't see it happening. I think this is going to be a good match, but I do think Jack Perry gets the win. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't see any other outcome but Jack Perry getting the win at this point, especially if they're still trying to build this, EVP type of story. They want to, continue this run with Jack Perry being the scapegoat, being the guy. I don't think it's the right time. I don't think there's any other decision at this point other than to keep that title on Jack Perry and just kind of keep it moving. I don't think it's the right move.
The man literally forged the title, Zach. He's got to hang on to it for at least 9 months if he's making it himself. I think that's got to be a rule.
I was good. How are you going to take it off of him? He literally put that thing together. I mean, and that was very impressive too. Like normally I'm not, I don't want to call myself a traditionalist with the belt sense, but like normally I'm like, maybe we should leave it the same, like, kind of in the same vein as Jey Uso with the new blue color on the Intercontinental belt. But I thought watching that video, I was like, all right, I'm a believer here. I love what you did here. I think it's perfect for his story as well. Like if there's anybody else, I don't think it would have worked as well. But with Jack, I think it works perfectly. So yeah, leave that belt on him.
Yeah, when he put a lot of effort into that. So you gotta keep the strap on him for a little while longer. And then look, like, I don't know, Shibata, good wrestler. If you know his history, he's an even better wrestler, but he hasn't been that guy for quite some time, and understandably so, given what happened to him. But he's a guy that you plug into situations for acts like Jack Perry to beat. And that's what this is. This is just another notch on the Jack Perry belt. Keep the title reign going until you can get to a different place. So I think it's going to be a fun little match. And I think Jack Perry, is going to benefit from beating somebody and having a win like Shibata on his resume. But make no mistake, this is all for Perry.
Darby Allin, if he wasn't an idiot on screen, I mean that on screen, if he didn't get baited by Jon Moxley, could be the AEW World Champion right now. Instead, he is walking into the Tacoma Dome to go up against Brody King. And man, I just what a fall from where he could be on this card. Like initially, before the whole plastic bag incident, I had it pegged and marked heading into All In. I thought we were going to see like an all Washington like triple threat: Darby Allin, Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson, all those guys growing up within like an hour's drive, a stone's throw of the Tacoma Dome. I thought that was the match that we were going to be heading toward. Did not expect, the plastic bag and then Swerve Strickland to get freaking jackknifed on top of a cinder block and all those plans to get completely blown up. My God, All Out, what a card that was. What a night that was. But this is not the direction I thought for Darby Allin heading into this show, but this man needs to get a win because I do think the ultimate end game is him taking the AEW World Championship and moving forward with Bryan Danielson heading into retirement, essentially, not completely walking away, but full-time retirement when that does happen. I think Darby's got to be the guy, the next generation of AEW World Champions. He needs to get this win. I think he does get the win. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Darby Allin is a menace to society, right? Like in the ring, that man, like when I think about Darby Allin, I think about the fact that he took one of his names from the, I guess, infamous punk rocker G.G. Allin. And so far as the wrestling's version of G.G. Allin, he's done pretty well for himself with that. And I think in this particular match, it's obviously going to be, a lot of violence, right? That's all I can picture in this match is just serious
on an
violence.
AEW pay-per-view, sir. How dare you
listen to me. Listen, I know it's controversial to say that, Mr. Rick. I apologize, but it's going to be violent. There's going to be a lot. I feel like Brody's going to pick up Darby and throw him like a javelin or something, right? But I agree with you. I think Darby Allin is the next guy in line for the championship. I think he is the future of AEW. And I think they're going to put that rocket on him at some point, but he does need to show and prove at this point after everything that's happened so far with Moxley and everything else. So I do think it's going to be a hard-fought match, just like every other Darby Allin match. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of crazy shenanigans and whatnot, but I think Darby Allin gets the win.
Zach?
So yes, Darby Allin all the way as far as my prediction goes. I think AEW made the right decision here in pivoting from, it's an open challenge and revealing that on the day of the show and just getting it booked into something that people can get interested in, even if it is only a couple weeks. When you have open challenge and you have pay-per-view, you inherently have the expectations of some kind of name coming in. And if you can't deliver on that, it's good that you just scrap it, announce an opponent, and go on. Brody King, for this situation, is a really good opponent for Darby Allin. He is going to toss Darby Allin around. He is going to beat Darby Allin to a pulp. And then Darby Allin's going to overcome and get that W and look really, really good in the process. So I'd like this matchup for what it is, which is getting Darby primed up and getting him a W so that he can continue on a journey. And I agree, Rick, to a world championship down the road. This is a key part of that. Darby Allin is, he kind of got screwed with the whole thing with Jon Moxley at Grand Slam. He was in a great spot. And then, he's now was asked, hey, like, we want to go a different direction. Play ball with us here. They're going to make it up to a big win. And Darby goes over.
Real quick before we move on, I'd like to make a note. We so far are in complete and total agreement. I'm waiting for the first person to say, "Nah, I disagree with you, you dumb mother." Anyway, the AEW World Tag Team titles are on the line. It is the Young Bucks. It is Private Party. I love that Private Party is in this spot, Adam. But come on,
yeah, no, there's no. Again, it's the same
Bucks all the way. It's Young Bucks all the way.
It's the same theory with Jack Perry, right? Like the Young Bucks are going to be dominant here. They're trying to prove that they are the EVPs and they're the guys and, the whole storyline and blah, blah, like Private Party is great in this spot. And I'm glad that they're getting the shine that they deserve here, but I'm sorry, fellas. I don't see any other way out of this, but the Young Bucks walking away with those titles.
And then we're going to get some kind of backstage segment here, Zach, where Stokely Hathaway's got some big smile on his face because we got to move Stokely Hathaway onto a new talent because we had to end his relationship with Chris Statlander for fucking reasons. Pardon my French. I don't even know if I'm allowed to cuss on this channel. But I
kicked that door down, didn't we?
It's a new channel. Not a lot of people are going to watch this anyway. But Zach, what do you think about this one?
I mean, look, I wish I could disagree with you to put a little more intrigue with these picks, but I can't. Young Bucks all the way. Look, Private Party's Private Party. I don't think they've landed on like what really works for them yet. They seem to be always like doing something different with their gimmick and with the act and who they are. And now Stokely's going to be in there. It's just it's just not the time. It's not the time. And, the Young Bucks, as they continue going on here as heel tag team champions, like, I think that they're building up to, a moment where them losing is really going to matter and can benefit a team that's very much ready to get to that next level. And Private Party's just not that right now. So yeah, Young Bucks win this.
I have a feeling we're going to start disagreeing right now. I feel it in my bones. I highly doubt we are all going to pick the same one on this one, because is there a 3-sided coin on this one? Let's flip one. We got Will Ospreay defending the AEW International Championship against Ricochet and against Konosuke Takeshita. Man, I have gone back and forth and back and forth and then over to the other side and then back and forth and back and forth. I just get the hunch that this is going, honestly, I feel like this is because the Don Callis family is going to get involved in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be shenanigans, to steal the word that Adam used earlier. It all comes down to, honestly, I think, where does Kyle Fletcher's loyalty lie? And I just get the sense that Don Callis is going to find a way to screw Will Ospreay again. I got Takeshita taking the international championship in this matchup. I think and new happens here, and Will Ospreay is going to be right back on the chase to getting that belt back. Adam, what do you think?
This is going to be the first part of this program, Rick, that we disagree.
Okay, finally, there we go. That was the goal. That was the goal to pick. That's what pushed me over to Takeshita.
I genuinely think that Will Ospreay is not leaving with that championship, but I think it's going to be Ricochet. Ricochet was brought in as the brand new guy, jumped ship WWE to AEW. They had the great rematch between him and Ospreay and everything else, and everything looks fantastic. But here's a wild theory for you, fellas. MVP just showed up at AEW. MVP talked about recently, within the past year, who was supposed to be in the Hurt Business. That's right, Ricochet. He was the other choice besides Cedric Alexander. So I think my wild prediction here is that Ricochet is going to walk out with this championship, and somehow MVP is going to be involved, and he's going to join that syndicate, whatever they're calling it. Obviously, as we've heard, right, that Bobby Lashley is also AEW bound. Cedric Alexander obviously still under contract at WWE. What's the next best thing, fellas? Is Ricochet. So I think I have a slight hunch that may happen.
They could do that, but Swerve could also take that spot, potentially.
That's true.
That's the story they seem to be telling right there.
Or Swerve joins as well as Ricochet. You can't ever have too many people in a Hurt Syndicate. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. It's a wild theory here, guys. Even if it doesn't happen, I still think Ricochet is walking out with that title.
Zach, I would love it if you chose Ospreay right here, just so we could just call you.
I can't, in good faith, choose Will Ospreay because I just don't think that's good. I can make an argument. I can make an argument for him for sure. But I am with you, Rick. I think this is going to be Takeshita's night, and it's going to be thanks to Don Callis and or a turn by Kyle Fletcher. Also, I don't think it's an accident that yesterday on AEW Dynamite you saw Don Callis cozy up to Lance Archer as part of the Don Callis family. So you could see somebody like him get involved. They gotta go or don't go with Takeshita at some point. That guy is supremely talented, and he needs W's, he needs championships in order to elevate himself, because he can't cut promos like some other guys. He doesn't have that in his arsenal right now. Don Callis helps. But what helps most is getting wins and holding titles. And so it feels to me that this is going to be, a Don Callis moment. He screws Will Ospreay, and then Will Ospreay either goes on to reclaim the title or, eventually just get back in that world title picture where I think he should be, anyway. So I'm going to take Takeshita here, though, Adam. I do like your theory, and I like Ricochet in the Hurt Syndicate. So even if he doesn't win this, match, I still think that's a good place for him long-term in AEW, because he doesn't fade into the background that way. He's involved in something that's going to get a lot of attention, and I think that's good for him overall.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of different directions they could go here. I think the biggest thing, I would be shocked if there's not any outside interference, because in a triple threat match, it's not like the Don Callis family has to be sneaky or anything. They can just openly come swinging in with the screwdriver if they really wanted to, just from the second the bell rang. So I think we're going to get some kind of chaos here. But the fact that none of us picked Will Ospreay means he's hanging on to the championship now, because that's how that works.
That's exactly right.
We got Hangman Adam Page, the deranged Hangman Adam. Just look at that. Just look at that.
Look at that picture. Look at that. Picture.
What a face.
That's a face only a mother could love. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Call the fire department. Yep.
What a marvelous mustache, though. Hangman Adam Page going up against the returning Switchblade Jay White. This is another one where I just kept going back and forth, but I gotta see it with Jay White in AEW. They it seems like once he lost, this man was unbeatable when he first came in. Like, he was Superman. He survived everything. And then a hobbled, broken MJF pinned him, and he has just fallen to the wayside ever since. Hangman Adam Page is on a roll right now. They have got something with him. I don't know what the end game is with him, but they are building up something with him here. I think Hangman Adam Page gets the win. Adam?
I really, really, really want to say Jay White. I do. Because, again, I'm a big fan of Jay White. I loved what they did with him in the initial. I was skeptical. I was like, maybe is this the right choice? I don't want him to get swallowed up, as we talked about with some other talent here. I don't want it to go south. But I thought they were doing well. But I agree with you. I feel like the momentum has really been lost with him, and they haven't really been able to capture that back. And I feel like it's a shame, because he could be somebody, he could be a contender. And I mean, imagine if Darby Allin does win the title. That could be an incredible match between the two of them for that championship, right? I don't see any other, like you said, with the Hangman Adam Page. I mean, we just talked about the Swerve Strickland match as well. I mean, the guy is on for lack of a better term, rampage right now. How do you put anybody else over but Hangman Adam Page in this scenario? It doesn't make any sense to me. So as much as I want to say Jay White, my heart is breaking as I say Hangman Adam Page.
Zach?
This match really stings for Jay White, because he comes back, he's getting some pretty good reactions. He's working babyface now, pretty much, even though that's a little awkward to watch. But the crowd's behind him, and it's just not going to happen because he's just not a focus, or he hasn't been to this point. If they change their tune here and they go with him here, like, okay, I think I can get behind that. But then it's like, well, what are you doing with Adam Page then? He just got a huge win against Swerve Strickland in that lights out unsanctioned cage match. Got the win there. Like, he's a hot character. He's just a hotter character than Jay White, and historically and habitually gets treated way better than Jay White does. So yeah, expecting them to have a really good match, like a good hard hitting, match. They had a match a few years back. I don't think was it in the G1 or one of those San Francisco or San Jose New Japan shows that was just crazy athletic and hard hitting. And I'm expecting to see that again, but this is Adam Page, and then you just are where you are with Jay White, unfortunately.
Which sucks. That's the thing. Objectively sucks that he's here, right? I can't be the only one who feels that way, right?
No. I had hopes that he would, come in and just take things over. And again, it looked like they were on that trajectory with him, right? Because this is a guy. I mean, and then he just hit a brick wall and just completely dropped off. We have a 9-match card thus far on the main show. All right. I know there's more on the 0 hour. Here's our only women's match, Tony Khan, of the entire card. It is Mariah May defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale. Hey, Willow's on the screen, so we all win on this one because she's just absolutely fantastic. I don't think it's her time just yet. Mariah just got this. I was hoping they would have a little bit, more for her to more in the chamber ready to go after she won the AEW Women's World Championship, a little bit more for her to kind of sink her teeth into. It really feels like to me she's just waiting until Tony Storm comes back at this point. She's literally in a holding pattern, and it's just like, all right, well, here's a baby face you can beat, and I feel like here is another baby face that she's going to beat. Doesn't mean that the match isn't bad, but I think this is arguably the most predictable match on the card. I think Mariah May hangs on to the title, Adam.
Again, another one of those situations where I wish I could say Willow Nightingale, but I just for everything you said, like I don't see any other way out of this match than Mariah May retaining for the purposes of keeping it on her until Toni Storm returns. That, like you said, it's the most predictable match on the card, right? I love Willow. I hope that she, has a long trajectory with the women's championship, but I don't think it's the time. I don't think it's going to happen right now.
Yeah, and look no further, Zach, than the evidence of this, right? If for those of you who are watching who aren't convinced that Willow can't win this, I look at it as until Britt Baker got sick this weekend, and we hope she gets better. She was supposed to compete against Willow to be the number one contender for the AEW Women's World Championship. Both Dr. Britt Baker and Willow lost their big pay-per-view matches in the weeks leading up to WrestleDream. So it's like, how can we really get behind the people who haven't had any other Dr. Britt Baker lost, disappeared for a month, won one match, and was going to come back and face Willow. Probably would have lost, I would guess. But I just don't see them putting the title on either one of those women based off of where they were in the weeks leading up to WrestleDream.
Not right now. This is Mariah May's match to win. And I think it would have been, whether it was Willow or whether it was Britt Baker, either way, I think this is Mariah May's run. This is her run. They built up to this for a long time, and so they need to give this some juice. I think like the issue you talk about, Rick, speaks to some issues in the women's division from a booking perspective. The talent is there all over the place, but you gotta look. This match was built and created in 1 week's time. I mean, you can't get much out of that if you're only going to give it 4 days, worth of time and effort and storyline. You have to think longer term than it. If Britt Baker is where you want to go, all right, well then and she got sick, so there's extenuating circumstances there. I understand, but not if you start that feud 2 weeks ago, Same thing with Willow Nightingale. Like if you're going to go that route, well, get there quicker so that they can actually have a true feud and make it feel like that women's world championship is like the prize in women's wrestling. And it doesn't feel that way when you book things in this manner. So it's Mariah May. And it's, I think, a quicker definitive win. Like, I don't think they're going to try to protect Willow or anything like that. But I think the bigger issue here is just how Tony Khan is figuring these opponents and can he get them lined up better than he has at the moment.
Are we surprised that they haven't hopped in more quickly with Jamie Hayter? That they're kind of
me too. That'd be another perfect one. Yeah.
Like, I feel like she was the champ, so she came back. She got her revenge against Saraya. Okay, cool. Chop that up. She's done. Now it should be, hey, I'm here to get the title back that I got screwed out of. And instead,
it's a straight line right to that story. Yeah.
And instead, we're starting something with Penelope Ford. Now, I love that Penelope Ford is back. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. Unless the plan is ultimately to have Jamie take the belt, which could totally be possible. It just seems weird that they're kind of slow playing her a little bit, but we'll see. Tony Khan likes to play the long game, so we shall see. All right, gentlemen. Here it is, the last one. It is the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, in the Tacoma Dome, about an hour away from where he grew up, going up against the pride of the Queen City, Cincinnati, Ohio, Jon Moxley. Is this the end, Adam, of Bryan Danielson's full-time in-ring career?
I'm really conflicted on this one. I've been thinking about it all day. Honest to God, I've been sitting there. I was at the gym this afternoon, and I'm sitting there, and I'm going, who the hell is going to win this match? Because there's part of me that really thinks that, Bryan Danielson's going to retain. Obviously, he's in his hometown, right? He's on his last real big run, according to what everyone's been saying and what he said. But then you have Moxley coming in with this crazy, bag suffocating, I don't know what the deal is with the shaved heads and the look and the white t-shirts, but I don't know what this is.
Put it that way, Jesus.
There's a theme here, but it's very
now.
What's that?
I'm uncomfortable now. Just thinking about.
I mean, it's like there's a look here, right? And it's like,
If Pac shows up bald this weekend now,
oh my God.
I
Put a
can't
hat
even
on him.
picture that.
Give him
That-
a wig.
no.
Give him a wig. Put a hat on. Nobody wants to see that, right? No, I think it's. I don't know if that's actually what it is, but I'm just saying, right? Moxley came in very, and I hate to use this phrase, but it was very like Scott Hall-ish, right? Where he just showed up. He gets in Tony Schiavone's face. This isn't your company anymore. You have the bag incident. What happens if Jon Moxley loses this match and it turns into, that storyline or whatever they're building to doesn't go anywhere now, right? Is this the opportunity where Shane McMahon shows up at WrestleDream, right? Like, is that what they're building to here? So for me, this is a very complicated answer, and I don't know if there's a good one, and I don't know if it just ends up in like shenanigans, right? Where it ends up where no title changes, and then Danielson gets beat down in the ring. I think if you ask me for a prediction, I think Danielson is going over. I think Danielson retains, but I think something insane happens and he gets his ass handed to him at the end of the match, and something wild, right? Whether it's Shane McMahon, whether it's somebody else that nobody really has thought about, something crazy is coming, and I think Danielson is going to get his ass handed to him.
Zach, new champ, or does the final countdown of the American Dragon still got some time left on it?
I'm going new champion here. And it's for almost every reason that Adam just pointed out. Like, Jon Moxley is the most compelling character on AEW, in my opinion, at the moment. I mean, he came back, a lot of fanfare. He came back, new gimmick, like a real heel this time, not like a fake heel in the BCC who's just kind of playing heel, but really isn't interested in getting heat. That's not him right now. I mean, I think that there is a concerted effort for him to get booed and to be like this big bad heel. And, if I'm Tony Khan, the way I'm looking at this is eventually Bryan Danielson's going to lose this title, and we're going to want to get the most out of it that we possibly can when he does lose. So who are heels on the roster that can really, like make something of retiring Bryan Danielson, quote unquote? And I can only really think of one other one, and that's Hangman Page at this point. That could be that guy. But when you put into it all the extra stuff that Moxley's been talking about, it's not your company anymore, the Shane McMahon rumors, the new faction, it just seems like they are about to launch something really big. And it'd be a good time to do that with Moxley as the champion. And then Danielson gets to go out like giving the most possible that he can back to AEW. So I think this is the time. It's in his hometown. He can tip the hat and walk away. I'm taking Mox.
I want to just quickly, just if I could, just real quick, I want to just clarify something real fast because I know I'm going to, damn it, Rick. I know I'm going to hear about it on Twitter because we don't call it X, right? We call it Twitter like the good Lord intended. But I am not comparing, just to be clear, I am not comparing the Outsider storyline to what Jon Moxley is doing. I want to be very clear about that, right? What I mean by Scott Hall-ish is that it had the presentation where he just showed up and he got in Tony Schiavone's face. That's all I mean. It just was like, oh, I've seen this before. This reminds me of that. Not comparing the stories. Everybody calm down. Twitter, take it easy. I promise I'm here to be friendly. I come in peace. That's all I wanted to say. Thank
Adam,
you.
why are you comparing Scott Hall to Jon Moxley? I wish you would stop doing that.
Yeah, one has hair, the other one doesn't. I'm
done. I'm out. Goodbye.
No. I'm glad you guys brought up all the storyline stuff because that means I can focus on all the other stuff. I look at the evidence surrounding this match and the fact that, Bryan Danielson has been on the record saying he never wanted to win the AEW World title. He basically had to be talked into it by Tony Khan, right? He has also been on the record saying he needs neck surgery sooner rather than later. He made a promise to his daughter that he was coming home. Daddy was going to be coming home. That was supposed to happen over the course of the summer. And now he's doing a little bit of an extension. He's in extra innings on his final run. I look at the fact that this is in Tacoma, Washington, his home state. Like I said, an hour away from where he was born. And I look at who his opponent is in Jon Moxley. I mean, this is a meaningful opponent. These are two guys who are really, really close with one another. This is they helped found the BCC with William Regal when he was there. I mean, remember when Danielson first came in and these two guys were like, are these guys going to team up? Are they going to be rivals, or what is it going to go? And then they beat the holy hell out of each other. They bled with one another, and then they founded this group, added Claudio, which was a perfect fit, brought up Wheeler Yuta, and it looks like he's ready to kind of like spread his wings and fly on his own here a little bit. I just look at all the evidence around and I go, this to me is just the perfect opportunity, I think, to have Bryan Danielson go out. I think this was always going to be the spot. I had him pegged as transitional champion more than anything when he did win it at All In. I looked at WrestleDream immediately in Washington and went, that's where he's going to drop it. I thought initially I thought it might have been to a Swerve or to a Darby Allin or somebody else from the area, but no, what we're going to do instead is bring a championship back to the city of Cincinnati. Jon Moxley is going to get it done for all the people in the 513, baby. Let's go.
May I just add to that? Go Birds. Forever and ever until the end of time.
Our sports teams suck. I need something to cling to, and it's going to be Jon Moxley. He never lets me down. And you know what? When Tony Khan needs to take AEW in a new direction, you know who is always Mr. Reliable? Jon effing
Every time.
It's funny. It just clicked in my head too. You're right. As you both are saying that, it's like, yeah, maybe that is what's going to happen. Maybe they're going to deliver the very ruthless, like, they're going to send him out, right? They're going to send him out in the worst possible way. And that's how this new era starts. And I mean, here comes the money. Question mark?
My God, stop trying to make Shane McMahon a thing.
Damn it, Rick. You know that Adam reads everything on the teleprompter. If you put a question mark there, he will read it.
God, stop trying to make fetch happen. All right. It's not going down. God,
I'm streets ahead, pal. You're streets behind. I'm streets ahead. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Trying to put that into the ether. All right. You're not changing your answer, though. You're still going with Danielson.
I'm still going with Danielson. Yeah.
So we had all of two different answers and both. Holy crap. Zach, me and you have the same card. The exact same card. Well, it was only Adam who branched out twice. Oh,
love
man.
it.
All right. Well, sorry for the really boring show, everybody. We'll try again. What's the next pay-per-view? Oh, yeah, Crown Jewel.
Yippee! Yay!
I'm sure that card. Well, you know what? That card will be anything but unpredictable, just for the fact that they got those horrendous Crown Jewel belts.
God.
Who knows what who knows?
Ugly. God,
that is, it's ugly as sin. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just, why?
I mean, hey, it's a slight improvement over whatever it was that they gave Braun Strowman when he won the greatest Royal Rumble or whatever that was.
Such a low bar, though. Low bar.
Look, it's Crown Jewel. It's always going to be. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the All Noob Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Plenty more to come on the channel. So again, hit that subscribe button. Prediction shows, analysis, clips, exclusive interviews. It's all going to happen right here. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy WrestleDream this weekend.